So I was listening to the radio yesterday,
Yep.
and they said the average family of 4 going to an NFL football game will spend over $500 this season. You going to football games?
That's for one game.
Yeah, so if you take your family of 4 to, pay for parking, pay for all the things, the average expense that day is going to be about $500 this year. Isn't that crazy?
That's getting a pretty good TV and increasing your ability to watch football at home.
Well,
Every game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get, 86-inch TV for $1,000 these days.
That's
so
what I'm
it's
saying.
like,
So I don't go 2 times, and I have the best football watching experience at home.
I feel like tickets, though, for the person that doesn't have season tickets or know anybody that has season tickets, it's kind of an odd thing because basically Ticketmaster and all these things somehow buy up all these tickets and increase the prices dramatically. But if you're a season ticket holder, you don't pay anywhere close to those prices. Not even close. So I don't know. I find it kind of odd that, like, if you just want to hit a game up on a weekend, these ticket prices over $500 for a family of 4, that is insane.
What it's doing is it's kind of pricing out that diehard fan. We've always been. We'll even just talk to the Chiefs. Chiefs cost like $79, something like that, to park a vehicle. I just want to.
Is that what it is this year?
It's something like that. It's like 60, 69, 79. It's absurd.
I would love to own that pavement.
I had a friend just the other day that said his wife went out there with a group of friends, and they carpooled because you're not going to pay for more. They went out there and they tried to find a place to park, couldn't find a place to park. Drove around. They had to pay entry fee to get their car on the lot, and they drove around, and could not find a place.
Inside the stadium?
They were trying to just park, and so the person said, "Hey, you got to get out of here. You can't just sit here and drive through." She's like, "I'm not trying to drive through. I'm trying to find a place to park." And so the moral of the story, she left because she couldn't find a good place and still paid the $69 or $79 for the price of moving your car past the gate.
Interesting. I've never had an issue trying to park, but it was also not opening day, so maybe it was packed.
And
I don't
that
know.
could have been it. It could have been that it was an opening day scenario. But all that to say, you're really starting to push out the diehard fans that were, middle class, lower, middle, upper middle, like all of that. They're all the standard football fare. $500 for a weekend just to go watch a football game. I could do that once, maybe a season.
And they got rid of the fire. Unbelievable. You should have seen that. I don't know if you know. Do you know the big fire thing in the beginning of the game?
Yeah. The whoosh.
Oh, man. It was
Super cool.
killer. Never had I ever seen that. I never made it into the game in time. Doing too much tailgating. I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll get there in the first quarter. No, you get there early. Those fire flamethrower things were awesome.
Yeah.
And then something caught on fire somewhere in the country.
What, the sky?
I don't know.
The way that
what
Arrowhead had it was like on the tips of everything.
Yeah.
They caught a plane on fire when it flew past. What was it going to run into?
I don't know. We need to look that up. But I think something at some stadium, there was an issue with the flame, and now no one does it. And now it's a little bit of smoke. It's not near as cool. It's unfortunate.
We're getting a little bit off the beaten path, but did you see the video of the B-2 bomber fly over and there was smoke, there was fireworks smoke, there was something like that, and it flew through at the perfect time that it just looks like it's coming out of the clouds like a ghost.
Awesome.
It made my heart just flutter a bit.
NFL flyovers, I don't care where you're at. It's
just cool.
It's a pretty amazing atmosphere. You're probably too many beers deep. You're probably, you're pumped up, everyone around you screaming. You're jacked up, and then all of a sudden,
This
the
thing,
monster.
it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the ones that have a dome.
Yeah.
The flyover could happen. You'd never know it. You
Yeah.
get no experience like that.
Do you expand the show to keep your prices? Like say
you're saying if it's $500, do you make it worth it?
Yeah, so you've got, these cool things. You got your flyover. You've got you get to see the walkouts. You've got the cheerleading things, the additions. Is there going to be more show to keep these prices? I mean, it's not like they're not filling up stadiums. I think they're just going to keep screwing everybody.
I think the idea is basically, we've talked about it before, supply and demand. If I've got too much demand, which is ultimately what it is, I can increase the price to make it more balanceable. And once the balance comes into play, we're like, all right, well, now I'm getting the same number of people every week. My seats are still filled up. If I go too much higher, I lose seats. Then I'm at the point. Supply and demand on those big stadiums is basically going to say how many people in the Kansas City, in the Seattle, in the whatever region, how many people can afford this? And if the number is more than the seats I have,
there you go.
Touchdown.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So it's funny you mentioned the spot here with how much it costs to go to an NFL game. My wife and I have been pricing out and just looking at what does Disney's take? Disney right now, if you want to go on a 5-day trip to Disney, $6,000.
That's nuts. Because
I-
like I remember going to like Six Flags and things as a kid. It was a $65 a day pass kind of thing. Still a little pricey, but of course you could bring a Coke, and all of a sudden it was $30. You could bring a can of soup, and you get a discount. $6,000 for a family of 4.
$6,000. And now that's assuming a couple things, but let's be honest. If I'm going down, and this is like, we'll just say it's a one-off. I'm never going to do this again. Well, then I'm going to go to a couple of the parks. So it's including a couple different days of parks. I'm gonna stay probably on a resort nearby or in.
That's not in the $6,000.
This is in the $6,000.
Okay.
I'm doing all these things, so that's where the price. I can do it for cheaper.
Have you actually priced this? Because I had another friend that went to Disney, and I'm pretty sure they said it was closer to like 10.
Well, and that's the real question. That's what I'm getting at. Everything ends up costing more or less, so that's where the $6,000 average comes from. If you decide you want to go for 5 days, you want to stay in the best resort that they have, you want to make sure that you have meal tickets and everything like that, you want to book time to sit down with the princesses, you want to like all of these extra things also cost money. I want to have a genie that lets me skip lines and do all these, which I've heard do it absolutely. Otherwise, you spend more time in lines than you do doing the things you want.
Right.
Like all of these things add up, and they are still not at the place where there's not enough people in the world that can pay for a place at the park, and that the supply and demand side of things says, well, we can keep raising the price.
I have
'cause
yet
people
to
are still
hear
showing up.
anybody go to Disney and not say that there was lines out of this world and it's packed to the hilt. So
So it's working.
prices
Like-
are going to keep going up.
And that's the hard thing, because like I remember when we went to Disney as a kid, like our mom's frugal, like she smart, she made her money last the furthest that it could, and we got to do amazing things as kids. It was really, really cool. I don't think she would have paid $6,000 to go to Disney, and like smartly so. Like that, it's getting obscene.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like literally, like I'm saying, I think your $6,000 is a pretty low estimate, and I only say that because it can't include all the food you're going to eat. It can't include all the other stuff you're going to spend. Because you think about that, for 4 people trying to do those day passes, what that one average that we saw was $176, something like that.
Mhm.
$176 a ticket. So if you did 4 or 5 days of that, I mean, you're getting pretty close to that ballpark. Eating every day is going to cost you a couple $100 for everybody to be on vacation eating.
It's true.
You know,
Yeah.
so $10,000 is probably your minimum.
So
you
we'll
know?
call 6,000 the low end.
Yeah,
Like-
6 to 8, 6 to 9, maybe.
And that's the assumption that you have that much overhead. Like, as Julie and I are talking about this, like, we're saving all year to make something like this happen. Like, well, do we do the other trip that we normally do? Do we buy a boat? Do we get a lake? Like, no, we don't do any of those things. So like,
Yeah, we're just going to go to Disney.
like we're gonna go to Disney. And if you're a family, and there's a surprising number that goes to Disney like multiple times a year, either you've found cheat codes that I don't know.
Well, that's what I was talking about with going to Chiefs games. The people that buy, these season tickets and things like that, they're not paying the same
Right.
prices.
Well, that's what I'm
as
wondering.
what's on the.
If there's a season ticket
Yeah.
that makes it a cheat
Give us some
code,
comments if you know what to do to go to Disney. Sam wants to take his family, so we need to know how to get it cheap.
yeah, can I borrow your cheat codes?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really looking
Need
at.
them for sure, because there's got to be a better way than paying that kind of price.
Doing traditionally middle class things is costing less and less middle class prices.
Do you remember when we went to Vegas and you go inside of bars and you're like, there's no way all these people paid as much money as we just paid to get in here?
No, absolutely. I was like, this is not real. And if it is, like, ugh, no wonder they make so much money.
Yeah. I think that all the time. Like, you guys all know something that I don't, because there's no way you all just paid $80 to walk in this door.
You got a neon tan, which means you sit under these lights all the time. How
Right.
do you do that?
Yeah,
What
for sure.
What are you doing on the side?
I don't know. I don't think there's any end in sight, though. Unfortunately, with supply and demand, Disney's definitely not getting cheaper. Like I said, I know probably 3 or 4 different families that have gone in the last 2 or 3 years, and the biggest complaint was my kid was too young for the length of every line.
Yeah.
Like how long you had to wait for the age of the kid was
Right.
not a good thing.
Hey kid, I need you. We'll call him Timmy. Hey Timmy, I need you to keep. We'll delay. This is going to be awesome. Trust me, it's going to be awesome. But
Keep your cool for 50
just-
minutes, would you?
I need you to chill out for 2 hours because it's going to be worth it. That is it?
Yeah.
Is it really going to be worth 2
Right.
hours?
Right.
I don't know. I might be lying to Timmy is what I'd be doing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the lines are the lines. I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway, hopefully they get cheaper soon. Hey, if you like what we're doing, like, subscribe. Click the little bell icon. I think that's what all the people tell you to do.
You're supposed to smash things.
Smash the like
Smash
button.
'em.
Have a good day.